So I feel like after being married for 4 years, there is still so much to learn about Ted. Every single time we are together, I feel like he does something new, or there is something that I see that I'm like, okay, I didn't know you were about this, And it's so weird because you feel like after 4 years, I would have known him already, but like there's so much to learn every single day. And it's also a challenge as well when it comes to being married, especially when you know that, okay, there is a way you do things that your partner knows, then all of a sudden he's doing something completely different. Like, what the heck? Like, did I know that about you? Or is this something that you just woke up and decided that, okay, you were going to do? But I feel like every single day there is something new. Like, even when I cook for you and I'm like, I'm bringing your food and you are busy working, there is a new side of you that I see. You're like, you don't like to be disturbed, but at the same time, you are so sweet about it. So I know that the Ted is in there, but at the same time, too, there is this new side of him when he's like busy working that you can't really interrupt him. He becomes this serious guy. You're like, oh my God, who is this guy? Right? I mean, literally last week I was feeling that one of the days where you were working, I came to the office to bring him food, and I handed him the food and he wasn't even smiling. Like, he was busy typing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, keep in mind too, we've been married for almost 4 years, and Veronica knows that I'm a writer and knows that I've actually invested in writing full-length novels.
Yeah.
More than one time in my life, but I've never actually been able to do it since we've been married.
Yeah.
And I am doing it right now.
Yeah.
And I've told her before that when I get serious about my writing, I mean, it's almost like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. It's like, if you interrupt me,
yeah.
If you interrupt me, we're going to have an episode. But no, I'm really not that way at all.
Yeah.
But I am super serious, and it is a little bit of a temptation for me to fall into the, the mode where maybe I'm just a little bit too focused, but
a little bit too focused.
How else are you going to get the job done? I mean, because now I'm married, now I have a daughter, I'm still working, and all these things are going on. And if I don't protect my space to get this accomplished,
you won't be able to
I
get
won't
it
be.
done.
And I'm on a timeline right now too, because I need to get this done before Margaret, her mother, goes back to Ghana, because right now I have a little window
to work
where she's able to help, with Proverbs, so that I actually can work. So I mean, it is a discovery.
Mm-hmm.
As you're married, you think that, oh, I got this guy or this gal figured out, but
and something new,
something new happens. Plus, we're actually ever changing as people, and we should be. We shouldn't just stay static, the same person that we were 4 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Thank goodness.
So I like that you can switch around, you can be jovial, you can play with our daughter, and at the same time you are Ted, the serious writer. You guys haven't seen that side of Ted. When you see that side of Ted, the serious writer, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is the same guy. Like, literally, that's why they say that never judge a book by its cover. I mean, he is who he is, but never judge a book by its cover, because there is a whole other side of him that you guys haven't seen. There's this serious side, this business-minded man who wants things done and who will stop at nothing to get it done. And I'm really happy about that. Sometimes it's a little scary, but I'm very, very grateful to God that I have someone who is so intentional about family, who is so intentional about building a future, and that he can go above and beyond and get it done. So I guess it's a good thing, at the same time bad in a way, not in a sense where it's terrible, bad in a way where, like, when I'm in the mood to joke with you and I come in your office, because sometimes I'll see a funny joke and I'm like, oh, let me go tell Ted, and I'll come in the office and like serious, like, and I'm like, oh
yeah, I'm lost in my characters juggling plot and narrative and my prose and everything else that I'm trying to do to accomplish this thing, and all of a sudden oh, joke break,
like I'm there, I'm like, oh honey, did you know that? I'm like, oh, did you see this video?
But yeah, and in a lot of our videos, we talk about how cultivating your best self is so important.
Yeah.
So that you can prepare yourself for your eventual relationship with your spouse. But we don't necessarily always discuss the reality that once you are married, you're actually still going to be growing. You're still going to be changing. And no matter how well you may think you know your partner, like my wife is saying, there are things that are going to kind of jump out of the closet and surprise you every now and again. And that will continue to happen no matter how many years you're together, because again, you actually are developing, changing, and growing as the years go by. So what might have been true for you when you first met might not be true for you 5, 6, 7 years down the road. And so you're going to be discovering these things about each other, but always being open and curious. Keeping that curiosity alive. You know how curious you are when you're first dating. You're just open to almost anything. Like you're almost ready to accept them even if they say things that go against what you're technically looking for, right? And you are genuinely interested too. It's not like you're just hungry and so, you know, you'll just roll over and accept anything. The point is you really are genuinely curious to know this person, all the ins and outs of it, the good and the bad. So to keep that alive in marriage is super important.
I've realized that since we've been married, I've been in positions where I'm like, okay, I need to become my best self. Like I'll catch myself in moments where I'm like, okay, I need to start working out more, you know, because he's working out. I need to start eating better because he's eating better. Not because I'm doing it for him, but because if we are growing together and if we are on this journey together, I want us to be on the same level. I don't want a situation where he's like advanced and I'm like way behind. You know, we are not in competition. Not at all, but I feel like if you want to grow and have a great future together, you need to become better together. And so if he's working out, then I need to start working out. I need to start bettering myself. Anything that your partner is doing to improve themselves, you should also be doing something like that to also improve yourself. It helps with your marriage and it helps with the seasoning, you know, of the marriage. And you know that in the future, you guys are going to be in the same place together.
Yeah, well, what you're looking for is you want to be an inspiration to your spouse. So that you can pull out the best of each other. They say that, you know, you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around. Well, if you're hanging around anyone, you're hanging around the person you're married to, or at least you ought to be. So you better be healthy and helpful and an inspiration for each other. My wife, I mean, is such an inspiration for me.
Oh, thank you.
Especially in the department of when it comes to pursuing God and things like that. She's always there to be able to pick me up, you know, when I'm feeling down or when I'm getting a little bit lazy about my prayer life or whatever it is. I mean, she's always there.
We have to be able to pull each other up. Like I always say, when one person is down, the other person cannot be down too. So if I feel like he's down and I am feeling down too, instantly I go to God. I'm like, God, I need to be able to be there for him. Please refresh me. And it works. It works for me at least every single time. I'm like, Lord, refresh me. And there is a refresher in my life. And I go to him. I'm like, everything will be okay. We are going to get through this. We've been there before, been there, done that, and we shall overcome this as well. And it's helped a lot.
It has.
So let me ask you this. Since we've been married, do you think you've seen growth in me? Do you think I've grown as a person, or I still have a lot of work to do? Like literally.
You got a ways to go. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you're working through some fears.
Yes.
Still. But one thing that I noticed about you, when we first met, was that you were carrying a lot of fear. And you've overcome a lot of that, actually. You have. And what I love about you is that you actually were fighting and striving against that fear even when we first met and before we met, because I honestly don't know too many people who could have done what you did in leaving Ghana, leaving everything that you knew to chase a dream and chase a better life. And then when you met me, this white guy on the internet
that I didn't know,
who you didn't know, and you didn't really even know me when we got married, because we got married 4 months after we met on the internet. And I lived on the opposite side of the country in the US. And then after we got married, she moved all the way from Maryland to Oregon to live with me. And so that's just sort of an insight into your character, that you'll face your fears.
Yeah.
And you'll put yourself in uncomfortable situations so that you will grow and so that you will become stronger and so that you will put that stake through the vampire's heart, so to speak, and destroy that fear. And I think that's actually why you're still afraid of dogs, because I have yet to see you just embrace a dog, cuddle up, let the dog lick your face.
I don't know if I'm going to
just dive into the deep end with a dog. Well, she's still terrified of dogs.
I am
After
terrified
4
of
years of marriage, she might even be worse now than she was before. I don't even know.
I think I'm worse now than I was before when it comes to dogs, because you've never really brought dogs around me. But
yeah, well,
like I feel like I also feel like I have grown a lot. You know, being married to you has helped me because I see how courageous you are. I see how you are able to push the bounds. I see, you know, you like to go hiking and go like on high grounds and stuff like that, and I see that. And even though I won't do that because I'm afraid I'm going to fall down, I am inspired by it, and as a result I feel like, you know, I can do it, but I won't do it. You know, I think it's better to feel like you can, you know, even though you're not going to do it.
Maybe you're just not ready yet.
I'm not ready yet. That's what I should say. But I feel like a lot of things have broken free of me, I should say.
Yeah.
I've been set free from a lot of things because, like you said, coming here from Ghana, you know, with no family member and just living with distant family that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of fear that was instilled in me because, you know, I wasn't always treated the way I was supposed to be treated. And so I'm like, what's going to happen? Is this person going to, like, you know, I'm always on edge, but that's something that I'm always working through, and Ted has helped me a lot with that. And also my fear when it comes to relationships, you know, with so many disappointments, so many heartbreaks, and people being so phony, you know, there was a lot of fear there because of what I went through. But because I'm with you and the standard you set when it comes to relationship is broken that also off me. That has been completely broken off of me. Like literally, I've never been in a relationship with a man that allows me to just go through his phone. You know, Ted can give me his phone, I'll have his phone for hours. Whereas in past relationship, it was not a thing, you know, and so that set the standard. You know, Ted is like, woo, if you're a man and you're trying to, like, you know, like tell me that you like me, like your standard has to be like, wait, because this guy right here, this man has set a standard for me so high when it comes to relationship and who a man should be, that the foundation, in according to me and by the grace of God, I personally believe can never be shaken. Because I don't want to get emotional, but let me tell you this. If you are in a relationship with a man, you need to feel secured. You need to feel like you are protected. You need to feel like that man got your back. You need to feel like if you are in a room with a lot of people and you question if whether they like you or not, that man that you are with, you need to feel secure that, okay, that man loves me, and no matter what anyone else is feeling or what anyone else thinks, that man is my man. And that's exactly how I feel when I'm in places with Ted. I feel so secured. I feel so protected. And I know that because of that love he has for me and the standard that he has set, there is nothing that I ever have to worry about.
Well, my wife is super generous with her praise, but I'm glad that things work the way they do in this marriage. And it's an excellent point. When we're children, right? And we have dreams and we have ambitions and we are our unique person.
Yeah.
It's not like you just have time to decide. Like Proverbs is who Proverbs is.
Yes.
Like she didn't sit there and decide that she was going to have these personality quirks and be interested in this thing and express herself in that way. It's just coming out of her because that's really who she is.
Yeah.
And so when we're kids, we hope and need our parents to be that inspiration, to be that source of love, to cultivate the soil of who we are so that they can bring out the best in ourselves. And so often I think a lot of us have been disappointed by our parents and perhaps even traumatized in ways that still haunt some of us on into adulthood and perhaps even their entire lives if they're not able to break free from some of these horrible things. And so in the same way, when you're in a marriage, you want that marriage to lift you up.
Yeah.
You want to be secure in it because you'll find that, especially as a man, if you're struggling with inspiration, for instance, you can't seem to get your act in order and all this stuff. I'm not saying that you need to do these things for another person, because you do need to first do them for yourself. Because if you're not there yet, then you're not ready to be married. But my point is that little extra kick in the seat, if you want a little extra inspiration when you're feeling a little low, a little tired, you're going, you're moving, you haven't given up. Well, you just think about, for instance, my beautiful wife, or I think about our precious daughter, Proverbs. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not in the mood to write, but I've got to write because I've got this vision. And next year today, we'll probably be recording a video in this same spot. And I'll be holding my first novel up here and I'll be showing you guys, and this is the result and the fruit of a good marriage when the two of you are loving on each other, supporting each other, protecting each other, rooting and being cheerleaders for one another. Go, go, go. You can do this. We can do this.
Yes.
Don't give up. You just be amazed. I mean, that garden of yours that was once barren and sitting there full of rocks, I mean, this is just going to spring up into the most incredible fruit-bearing paradise that you could imagine.
Speaking of fruit, this recording, I just peeked at where we are sitting. There's like grapes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like grapevines.
We're surrounded with grapes.
And apples, and it's like such a beautiful place.